Hello, everybody. It is October 1st, 2025. And if you cannot guess by my hat, my shirt, background, and I guess some albums in a second, it is definitely going to be a No Prayer for the Dying. And it is the 35th anniversary of this album. This album, there is no in between. I have rarely run into anybody who says, "Oh, it's okay. There's a couple of good tracks. It's good. It is either yeah, I really like this album or it sucks. I hate it. It's one of the worst ones, man. When there's Iron Maiden rankings, it is I've seen it totally at the bottom. I have seen Virtual 11 beat this album. I have seen A Matter of Life and Death, which for me is songs are too long. I have seen The Final Frontier, which is, in my opinion, front loaded, and even Starblind and Where the Wind Blows. I know those are favorites. I don't really like them all that much, but I have seen this album ranked last so many times. Very few I've seen in the top five, but yeah, this album gets a lot of hate, and I did in the previous channel. I did this album, and then I also did like a matchup between this and Fear of the Dark, because in my mind they're kind of sister albums. They're very much, the sound is very similar. They kind of knocked out the keyboards. They stripped back to more of just a heavy sound. This one definitely better of the two. Now, I also think, and I love this album. I absolutely love this album. I have my hat, which kind of shrunk because I washed it. It was so full of sweat, and I washed it, so it kind of looks goofy, but I don't care. I have another one in the box, not even open, because they were selling them on the Iron Maiden website. They had leftovers, and I had one of these years and years ago, and it got all messed up and tossed it. Then I saw they were released like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe not even. Should have gotten more than two. I should have gotten a bunch of them, but they're gone now, man. They may have been just giving these things away at one point. But I do, as I said, I do love this album. Really, really is one of my favorites. Now, it's not my favorite. By Power Slave is always my favorite, and you still have, in my opinion, the holy trinity of Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, and Power Slave are the three best. I mean, no, the first album is definitely better than this one. I would take this over Seventh Son. I know a lot of people think Seventh Son is the best Iron Maiden album, and I like Seventh Son, but that's neither here nor there. But a lot of firsts with this album. Adrian leaves. I was not too happy about that. A lot of people were not too happy about that. Yannick joins the band. Again, I'm not. I know there are a lot of Yannick haters. I'm not a Yannick hater. If he decided to retire, I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. I was not happy when Nico retired, but the man, he can't play the drums like that anymore. And I think it was a class act thing to do, to bow out when you can still do it instead of, give a half-assed performance. But Nico is a legend. Kind of if you're a Sopranos fan, kind of the Livia Soprano when she's talking about Christopher's buddy to Junior. It comes to Yannick Gears, is my opinion. Same opinion as Livia had about, I don't even remember the guy's name. The guy who gets shot in the eye in the bathtub. She goes, the other guy? I don't know. That's my view on Yannick. I don't dislike the guy. There's a lot of people that despise Yannick. But I'm kind of like, he's fine where he is. I don't want him, I'm not saying he should leave. But this was our intro to Yannick Gears. And he's a good guitar player. Just, it is what it is. But at any rate, so I'm going to show what I have. I have the CD. And this is an original pressing of it from the time, 1990. 35 years old, man. 35 years old. This is the reissue of it. God. I know, guys. I know. It's reflecting my screen. You know what? I'll just hold off for my original. Now, when I say original, this is the day I went to Rolling Stones Records, Norridge, Illinois. Yeah, hold it like that. That's a little better. I got this the day. This is the day it came out, man. This is the day it came out. Man, the reissue, this is in color, but black and white. Lyric sheet. And then, I don't know if we knew this, and this was not as big a thing back then. Blood red vinyl. I remember seeing that and just going, oh, yes. This is still in pretty good shape. Some of some of these album covers over the years, the spine's not that bad either. Still pretty decent shape. I have it in plastic. What's this? Is this a colored vinyl? This new one? And then, it's just a color, same thing, but colored version of the picture. Do they do and of course it's a heavier, no, it's a black. But I remember getting that blood red. My buddy got, his copy. He lived far away. He lived I lived on the very north side of Chicago, northwest side by O'Hare Airport. He lived deeper into the city, so he went to a local record store by him. And I remember, we were on the phone and we're like, and I think we kind of listened to it together. Or no, we didn't, because I remember, I know we didn't. Sorry, I'm putting this back in the plastic. But I remember we were both like, man, the red vinyl, that's awesome. So, I do love this album. I didn't like it in the beginning. This was an album that it took a little while for it to grow on me. I think after, to me it was kind of a convoluted attempt to continue on Number of the Beast and Peace of Mind and Power Slave, and it just wasn't working. Adrian leaves the band. That was a big blow to everybody. And in fact, when I got this album, the first thing I did was, I don't remember any of this, but I think there was an article in one of the magazines that talked about it and said that there was one Adrian song on this album. And I went right to it, Hooks in You. And I remember wanting, because I love the Adrian songs, and I remember wanting to like this song, and it was like, oh. Now, it's funny because at first I was turned off by Hooks in You. Then it really grew on me. Now it's kind of gone down a bit. I don't dislike it. There are a lot of people that do not like Hooks in You. In fact, I've heard many people say it's the worst song on the album. I don't believe that. It's a good song. It's not a great song, but it is a good song. But the you could tell it was definitely a new chapter in the Iron Maiden book. And then I think after Fear of the Dark came out, and I have not liked that. That album is front and back loaded, in my opinion. The middle of that album, I think, is garbage. And a lot of songs at the end, like Judas Be My Guide, I love. I think it's the best song on the album. I do love Weekend Warrior. That one's hated by a lot of people. First few songs and the last few songs, and you could take a lot of it out and it would be a decent album. But I think after Fear of the Dark came out, I actually, because they worked very similar sounding, I kind of said, well, of the two, it's No Prayer. And I found myself listening to it more and more. Now, one other thing was they really caught the Halloween vibe with this album because, it's October 1st when this comes out, start of Halloween season. It's Eddie in a graveyard. It is this dark, mystical, very, very Halloween vibe. So that has added to it. It's just the whole feel of the album. But, all right, let's go through this, see where it ends up. Now, remember, it's out of a 5 scale, 1 to 5. So I'll go through each song and talk about and say where I rate them. Okay, Tail Gunner, out of the gate, it was the second single. Second or third single. I think it was the second one. I hated Tail Gunner right out of the gate. Hearing it on the album, the single, it took me probably 20 years to really start to warm up to Tail Gunner. It's an average song. It's a good song. I don't skip. I used to skip over it and go right to Holy Smoke. I don't do that anymore. And I think my biggest problem with Tail Gunner is I think the chorus is anticlimactic. It's got a good verse, good bridge, and then climb into the sky. Everyone do I Tail Gunner? You're a Tail Gunner. It's like, really? That's the chorus of the song? To me, it was always kind of, and still is anticlimactic. It's an average song. The verse and the chorus save it. It's a 3. The next one, the single, which gets a lot of heat as being like, oh, this stupid song was a single. I love it. Holy Smoke, it is. It's the Miracle Man from Iron Maiden. It is the attack on Jimmy Swaggart and the rest of the clowns that were stealing people's money in the name of God. I love it. It's a 5. I love it. I think the video's hilarious. I know a lot of people think it's corny. Great song all around. Holy Smoke is a 5. Dude, forget about it. No Prayer for the Dying is one of the most epic Iron Maiden songs of all time. It is one of the best things Steve Harris has ever written. I love it. I think it should be... I know there's a set list for Europe in the Run for Your Lives tour. I'm hoping to God they switch it up a little bit. I'd love to see No Prayer for the Dying brought back. Or when they retire some of the classic songs, it come back. Because I'm 51. I know it's not old, super old. I get it. My concert days are really coming to an end. We're going to see Judas Priest and Alice Cooper. I've never seen Judas Priest before. I've seen Alice a few times. I'm going to see Alice Cooper and Judas Priest at Tinley Park this Sunday. And then I'm waiting. I'm part of the Iron Maiden fan club. On the Days of Future Past tour, I got the pre-sale. I'm hoping to do the same thing. Well, I will do the same thing and get good seats. But I think that's it. The Run for Your Lives tour, I think that is really, really going to be it for me for concerts. I just don't I don't have the excitement and the joy. It's because I'm old and I don't leave the house much anymore and whatnot. I'm very content being here. My buddies who was a cop years ago told me you'd be the greatest. You'd be a hitman's greatest dream. You go to the same place, you stay here at home, and they'd be able to find you in a second. So I don't know if I'll go to another concert, but if they were to go beyond the Run for Your Lives tour and they were to pull out a song like No Prayer, I may go see them. And I think I did see this concert, and I do believe they played it live. So can't really remember. People, that kills me, man. People are like, oh, I remember this concert I remember concerts and stuff like this one doesn't stick out for me. I don't know, but I'd like to see No Prayer played live. I think it's one of the greatest Iron Maiden songs of all time. It's a 5. Solid. Super, super solid 5. Next one is Public Enema #1. Weird title. Buddy Ralph from Almost Human always talks about that I send Ralph No Prayer for the Dying track by track album battles all the time. And he likes his album too, but he always says, stupid, man, Public Enema #1, stupid album, song title, great song. I agree with him. And I love seeing Dave Murray's name to Dave Murray co-write. Public Enema #1 is a good song. It is a 5 as well. Next one used to be my favorite. In fact, I'm going to do a ranking of these songs. I've never really done that before on just an album review. But I'm going to do it here. And I was going back and forth. And this is not my #1 anymore. But, man, it would have been maybe 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. Fate's Warning, I think, is a call back to the old Iron Maiden. I think it goes below the radar. And people don't realize how great of a song this is. Again, Dave Murray co-writing this one. Fate's Warning is a 5. I love that song. Next one's The Assassin, and that's the one that even people who don't like this album seem to like, and I don't get it. That is the one song I've never liked to this day. It's not total garbage, so it's not a 1, but it is a 2. The Assassin, it's the galloping, it is the usual Iron Maiden galloping. It doesn't work. Better watch out, the guy, the assassin. No. I have tried listening to that song, and I will skip over it. It's the one song on the album I will skip over because it just sucks. It's a 2. I can't give it a 1 because, 1 would mean that it's like Unskinny Bop from Poison or something like that. Some garbage. But, no, it's definitely a 2. Next one is Run Silent, Run Deep. Another deep track. Another really, really good song. Straight ahead rocker. 4. Solid 4. Next one, Hooks in You. It's a 3. Again, if this was 15 years ago, it would be a 4. But it really, the only Adrian Smith penned song. It was the first one I listened to when I got the album. And disappointed then it grew on me, and now it's kind of like, eh. But I do have some nostalgia for it, too, so it's a 3. But definitely a letdown for being the only Adrian song. You could tell he was checked out. If that's what he's writing with Bruce, he was checked out. Because, man, that the trifecta of Bruce, Adrian, and Steve, some of those songs, man. And now Steve didn't have anything to do with Hooks in You, but still. And we get perfection. The other one that I wasn't, and this was number 1 in England. I think for a week. I don't think it stayed at number 1 for too long. It's good. Not anything to write home about. A lot of people loved this one, and it was supposed to be, or it was on Nightmare on Elm Street 5, I believe. Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. It's a 3. It's a fun song. It's a fun, Bruce Dickinson has that very off the wall sense of humor, and it fits it. So definitely a 3. Not horrible, not great. The other epic, and there are people who hate Mother Russia, hate this song. I don't get it. I don't get how you can hate this song. It is a solid 5, a stratosphere 5. It is phenomenal. I love Mother Russia. It is so haunting. It is so Russian sounding. Steve Harris was, when my God, No Prayer for the Dying and Mother Russia, Steve Harris he gave us absolute platinum with those 2 songs. So you average them up, it's 40 divided by 10. It's a 4, and that makes sense. Kind of surprised it wasn't a little higher, but man, yeah, a couple of them do bring it down. But man, this album, man, is one I go back to a lot, more often than a lot of other ones. It really, really is. I absolutely love this album. And then there's 2 variations of the cover. There's also the one where they don't have the guy being choked. Now, big thing here. This is, in my opinion, and I've said this before, and I've gotten a lot of flack for this. This is in my opinion, the last real Eddie cover. It's it's the last one that's done by what's his name? Oh, I'm all that's popping in my mind is Dennis Stratton, but we all know it's not Dennis Stratton. You know who the guy is. The guy that did all the covers. But he does come back and he does do like the top or bottom of Brave New World. My God, what is his name? Cover art by? Oh my God, guys, Derek Riggs. Don't get old. If you're young, don't get old, please. I would never have, 10 years ago, I would never have forgotten. I could have won a contest if the question was who would design the classic Iron Maiden covers. But it is the last real one from Derek Riggs. Then we get Melvin Grant, who I'm not a big fan of his stuff. He did a few and a few others. But, and it's the last, in my opinion, kind of the real Eddie. It's the Eddie from the first cover. Since then we've gotten weird variations of Eddie. So I think this album cover, and I do think it's one of the best album covers. I absolutely love this album cover. And you do see, I think a lot of people agreed with that because even though the album is not beloved by a lot of people, you do see a lot of shirts and what Iron Maiden releases a lot of No Prayer for the Dying stuff. So that sticks out. Okay, I'm going to rank these songs now. And let's see if you agree, don't agree, or whatnot. Bottom of the Barrel, The Assassin. Again, I already said that was the song that I don't like them, I like the least. Next one is Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Again, it's okay. I didn't see the appeal of it. I don't skip over it, but no. Other one, Hooks in You, is the next one. Again, liked it a lot better years ago. It hasn't aged well for me. Next one is Tail Gunner. Again, that was the one. God, if you asked me 20 years ago, Tail Gunner would have been number 9, but it's number 7 right now. Number 6 is Running Silent, Running Deep. Again, we're getting into the better songs, and the next ones are all 5s for me, so this was kind of difficult. Number 5 is Public Enema number 1. Stupid title, great song. Number 4 is the single that led the leadoff single that I still think is really good. A lot of people think is corny, but holy smoke is number 4. Okay, number 3, again, this would have been number 1 maybe just a few months or a year ago with Fate's Warning. I think it is an awesome rock, solid metal song. Number 2, the top 2 were so hard because they're both epic songs. Number 2, though, is Mother Russia. Phenomenal. And number 1 is No Prayer for the Dying. The last 2 are just, that was so difficult. They're just absolutely perfect, epic songs. So again, 35th anniversary for this album. I do think it has aged well. It doesn't get as, this album was 10 years ago was just hated relentlessly. There was nothing redeeming about this album for a lot of people. That doesn't seem to be the case nearly as much anymore. It's usually not in the top of people's lists. I've seen some goofy ones where it's the absolute bottom. I don't know how you can put either one. It's not a Blaze thing. I know a lot of people like the X Factor. I don't get it. I've tried listening to it a million times. In fact, I almost kind of getting to the point where I think I like Virtual 11 more than the X Factor. But, and how people, I don't know. I guess there are people that put The Final Frontier above this. And again, The Matter of Life and Death, where I think if those songs were more condensed, it'd be a better album. But this was my first Iron Maiden show, too. So it is kind of, there's a lot of specials with this album. But, yeah, I love this album. I'm sure I'm gonna talk more about this album in the future. It's it's definitely not a one and done with No Prayer for the Dying. I do an album review for something like Fear of the Dark or again The Final Frontier or something. It's gonna be a one and done. I'll definitely be coming back to No Prayer for the Dying, maybe putting it up against other albums and whatnot. And, in the old channel I used to go back and find the rankings of each song and the averages. And Randy and I, we just did Shout at the Devil versus Blizzard of Oz. And it was just kind of a conversation. And I like that. I think that's how I'm going to do it from now on, where it's just like, hey, here's these 2 albums, but I think this is better because this song is stronger and whatnot. So, yeah. Now, I do want to give another shout out. My buddy Ralph Vieira, he has that Almost Human channel. He had, this was one of his bands, Combat, and he may still have some of these CDs left. I will put the link to his channel in the description. This was phenomenal. He also had a band called Thrash or Die, which is great too. Those albums or CDs, I think you can still find on like eBay. This one you would have to, if he has any left, you'd have to contact him. But man, he was selling these. This is awesome. This is absolutely, absolutely awesome. I sent him a message, man. I was like, is there any, and I think this band was like 10 plus years ago. And I sent him a message. I was like, is there any chance you're going to reunite? And he's like, I highly doubt it, but, I'll definitely let you know if it happens. So if you get the chance, man, if you like Iron Maiden, it's, this is Combat was straight heavy metal. Thrash or Die is more of thrash, but yeah, he also goes by Dr. Fox. So that's that is his alias or his stage name. But check his channel out. I will never stop plugging him. He's a great guy. He's it's great when we've never met in person. We only really talk over Facebook and whatnot and through Messenger. But, this is what I love about this, because I don't care. I'm not one of these people that does, I got to put content up 3 times a day or 3 times a week or this, that, and the other thing. And so I look at these videos, and some of them get 100 views. Some of them get 12 views. Some of them. But it's fun because I get to talk to people and I get to meet people. We're a great little community, and if I can help other people out and whatnot for the, if hopefully, this is one of the videos where 100 people watch it, so my buddy Ralph gets more views. That's what I would like, and anyone else I can try to plug to help. But all right, so let me know what you think about No Prayer for the Dying. I love this album. Sure, a lot of people will say, "No, you're nuts," but no, yeah, I am. All right, talk to you later. Like, subscribe. Oh, and hey guys, Madison is right on top of this. This has become a joke. This has totally become a joke in the family. It is. You ever see European Vacation where Clark is driving around in the round? Goes, look, look everybody, Big Ben, Parliament. He can't get off the roundabout. We're in this roundabout. Madison just laughs now when I say, "Hey, are you going to do the Twitter and do the X?" Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. And the one I can figure out, I think it's the X I can figure out. No, they're both Twitter and Instagram. The Instagram, you got to do small video. That's just way too, like, slices of videos and stuff. That's it's like, I do this for fun. I'm not editing things. I'm not, oh no, content. Dude, I reviewed sorority girls in the slime ball bolorama. If I wanted to get 5 million views, I would not be reviewing sorority girls in the slime ball bolorama. But I did it because it's a funny movie. It's an awesome movie. And that's what people who are goofy, weird, got something wrong like me would enjoy. So, yeah. God, let's hold for a second. Hang on. I gotta show you guys something if I can find it. Hang on. All right, I'm back. I'm sure you all were waiting for me. Yeah, I know. I'm kidding. I paused the thing. What I was looking for is Bruce's first book was called Lord Iffy Boat Race. Okay. So again, this was my first Iron Maiden concert, and they were at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, and they were selling his book. And I went up and I was like, I'm a kid. I'm like, I'll buy his book. And they started laughing. The guys at the stand started laughing. And they go, "Are you serious?" And they go, "You are the first person to buy this book." I was like, "Really?" Yeah. And the guy goes, "Wait." He goes, "Hang on." And he turned around and he started going through the books. And he goes, "Here you go." And I paid him and whatnot. But he took a specific book. Now, as I'm reading this book, and the book is really messed up, but this this was decades ago. This crazy, perverted, noble guy. But in the book, in pencil, it's written, somebody wrote, something like, "Your mother would be embarrassed if she found you reading this." And I always wanted to know if it was Bruce. Because Bruce has that goofy sense of humor that he would write something like that in a book. And I want to try to find it. And somehow I want to get in contact with him, and if he even remembers, if he did it. And I wanted to show you guys the book and show you that I have books over there. Who knows where it is? It's in probably in a box somewhere. But if I find it, I'll put it in an Iron Maiden video. But I always thought that was funny. I was like, is this Bruce? Was it really Bruce that wrote that? Because I don't know who else would. I mean, I guess somebody else would do it as a joke. But it's Bruce's. That's Bruce's kind of uh, sense of humor too. But all right, No Prayer for the Dying. Love it. We'll go to my grave loving it. And let me know what you think. See you later.